Alright, so a lot of wisdom from the Rebbe for today. So in general, it speaks about the forefathers, that it says that they lived together for 15 years of their life, overlapped, because for 15 hours a day they learned together. In honor of the Torah, they learned together for 15 years. God merited that they should live together for 15 years. Another idea which is brought is the fact that Torah adds 24 psukim to tell us the fact they lived their whole 24 hours of their day for the service of God. Now, what's the difference between these two explanations? Is that the first explanation speaks about the idea of them learning Torah together. As Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov were three different services. One was chesed, gvura, tiferes, love, fear, and mercy, all different pathways. And therefore, the only way they could unite is through the idea of Torah. Through the fact that they're coming together using their brains, but not in their physical, spiritual ideas of actually affecting the world. And that's why it had to be only in the way of Torah. As opposed to the other explanation is that 24 hours a day they were serving God together. But that was all each in their own individual way. Now, the same is true with the idea of after the giving of the Torah, that we have to be able to bring down the godliness into our physical life, not only in our spirituality of the Torah, but also in our day-to-day life. Now, what's interesting is also by the Chassidic Chabad, as we know that right now we're in the month of Kislev. Tonight is Yud Kislev, the day of freedom of the Minute Torah Rebbe, the second Chabad Rebbe from jail, where he was sent to jail for spreading Chassidus to the world. Now, this idea of the fact that the Rabbeim lived together, we see that actually the three Chabad Rabbeim in the beginning, the Baal Shem Tov, the Maggid, and the Alter Rebbe, lived together for 15 years as well. And they had 15 years where they overlapped. And interesting enough, Chabad Rabbeim, the first three, the Alter Rebbe, Mittel Rebbe, and Tzemach Tzedek, actually lived together for 24 years. As this is the two aspects. When it comes to Chassidus in general, which is the Baal Shem Tov, Maggid, and Alter Rebbe, it was a way of learning Torah, meaning it was all about the spirituality, but it wasn't able to permeate a person's brain. As opposed to what Chassidus Chabad accomplished, the Alter Rebbe, and especially the Mittel Rebbe, and the Tzemach Tzedek accomplished, is that godliness shouldn't only remain spiritual, shouldn't only be about Torah, but should affect the physical world. And that's why they were lived together for 24 years, showing that the godliness came to permeate them in a full manner of 24 hours a day, being fully serving God. And this is what Chassidus has to affect in our lives, that we should be fully given over to serving God. L'chaim, l'chaim.